energy vampires, as people call them, are only interested in getting your attention. So people that drain your energy are wanting to get their energy from you. And the way that you do that is through giving them your attention and by reacting to them. So what a lot of people that are trying to drain your energy will do is that they'll try to get a reaction out of you. And then that reaction, if you react to it, is their hook in, because now you're giving them the attention that they want. And I first learned about this from a book called The Celestine Prophecy. And it talked about basically these shadow dynamics between people that causes this attachment between their energy fields. And it's how one person takes energy from the other. And this shadow of needing to get energy from outside of oneself comes from a place of them being disconnected from love or source themselves, because when you're connected to that, you don't have to get it that way. You can just get it from within yourself. And for a lot of people, what it really comes back to is childhood trauma. Yes, including the energy vampire. So what I learned about from this book was basically that there's different ways that people do it. Like one of the classic ways that people do it is like the bully archetype. Like think back to when you were a kid, the bully. They're doing it to get a reaction out of that person so that they feel bigger and that person feels lesser. And then when they feel bigger, their energy field expands. And then when that person feels lesser, their energy field shrinks. And then there's an accord of attachment that sucks their energy into them, making them feel good for a little while. Well, it makes that person feel bad. I know that's messed up, but that's what it is that they're getting a supply out of it. But like in the classic stories of like when the person stands up to the bully and they don't give them that energy, I went through this when I was a kid on a playground. I stood up to the football dude who was like taller than me when I was in middle school. And then because I was no longer intimidated by him, he couldn't get his supply from it. So he wasn't even interested in bullying me anymore, because it was just like kind of embarrassing for him of like, well, he's not afraid of me. So like, what's the point? Like he couldn't go any further with it. So, and then it was like, I was no longer a vibrational match to that. And I started becoming more confident, right? But I had to have the courage to step up and make that boundary, right? And to be like, not feed into that, right? And another one of those dynamics is that of being aloof. Like, people who will like, they'll do this in a love relationship where, and I've done this too before, people call it, whatever that attachment style is, where they get kind of distant, but they're like kind of like playing games, and then it makes you kind of like pay attention to them. And there's different versions of these energy dynamics, and or people who will gossip and start stuff, and then they want to bring you into it, or maybe they're talking about you, and all these things are just ways that people get attention. They're like children. Like, come on guys, we got to do the inner work, right? Like, because when you tap into unconditional love and into source, you don't need to do any of these things to get your energy. But these are all ways that in which people, when they were kids, felt like they had to do because their parents wouldn't give them the energy that they needed to feel loved or to feel worthy or to feel whole. And then basically they grow up and then they image that into all their other relationships with people. And so they play all these games. So like when you start awakening, and you're like, nah, I'm not going to play these games. You start working on yourself. You start prioritizing your own growth. You start loving yourself, and you're like, I'm not going to put up with that. So how do you deal with it? You got to have energetic boundaries, especially if you're an empath. You need to come into your body and have a sense of your own frame. You need to have a sense of your own energetic boundaries like a picture frame in your reality, like this picture frame right here, like that holds the content of the painting, and that painting is you. That's your reality. You need to have your own reality going on, right? You need to have, you need to be able to come in your body, be able to feel the difference between you and other people, and then focus more on what you're doing in your own energy. And then when people are trying to come and play those games, just don't play the game. Just try it out. I mean, if you've ever experienced this, please leave in the comments. I mean, for some people who might not have tried this out before, that might sound so too simple. I'm not going to elaborate on it anymore right now. If you have any more questions, let me know. Just making content to fill a gap here in the conversation. But yeah, I'm sure there's other people that, like, especially sensitive people, like, you know, people who are tuned in who have experienced this, is like when you stop feeding into it, you redirect your attention, you're like, I'm not even going to react to that. I'm not even going to give power to that. Like, it repels it. Like, it really is an attracting and a repelling. So then you'll get to this point in your journey. I don't know if any of you other guys have experienced this, but for me, like, I rarely even attract people that are trying to even do that. Because it's like my reality, like, isn't even a match to it. Like, I don't have any friends that do that. I don't have any family members that do that. I don't have anybody. Because I got to a point in my journey where I was like, I don't give up. Like, no. And like, and I would give people multiple chances, and if they kept going to a certain point, I'm like, you're out. And I understand it's not like that for everyone. Like, I live a very extreme reality. Like, I unplugged from the Matrix and live in the woods and, like, with my partner, and just was like, no. Like, traveled all around, and like, I know I don't live the same life that a lot of people live. So it's like, yeah, sometimes you just got to deal with it, like Neo in the Matrix, right? I've been that too. I've, like, you know, I grew up in the suburbs. Like, I get it. I like near the city. Like, I get it. But, you know, yeah, you got to find your own way through it, right? It's like, but at least for me, I reached this point where it's like, whether or not you're just like, you're done, I'm not going to interact with any of that, I'm unplugging from it all, like, goodbye. Or you're just like, I'm just going to raise my vibration, and then you can be anywhere, and it won't even, it'll just like repel off of you. Like, you ever seen that? You can be anywhere. Like, I've experienced this too. Like, I could be around people, all different kinds of people in different environments, and it's like oil and water. Like, it's not like you're trying to fight anything or psychically defend. It's not like that. It's like you're just so strong in your own energy that it just is like oil and water. It's really cool. So let me know in the comments if any of you guys have experienced that. It might be affirming for other people. Peace. Make sure that you do all the interactions. That really helps the engagement in the algorithm to help reach more people, and it helps your own account as well. So, all right. So thanks, guys.